On Beyond Zebra by Dr. Seuss. Oh, these places are blank. Often they've got cool pictures in there. On Beyond Zebra. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Said Conrad Cornelius O'Donald Odell, my very young friend who is learning to spell. The A is for ape, and the B is for bear, and C is for camel, the H is for hare, the M is for mouse, and the R is for rat. I know all the 26 letters like that. Though to Z is for zebra, I know them all well, said Conrad Cornelius O'Donald Odell. So I know everything anyone knows from beginning to end, from the start to the close, because Z is as far as the alphabet goes. Then he almost fell flat on his face on the floor when I picked up the chalk and I drew one letter more, a letter he had never dreamed of before, and I said, "You can stop if you want with the Z, because most people stop with the Z. But not me. In the places I go, there are things that I see that I never could spell if I stopped with the Z. And I'm telling you this because you're one of my friends. My alphabet starts where your alphabet ends." My alphabet starts with a letter called Yuz. It's the letter I use to spell Yuzamatuz. You'll be sort of surprised what there is to be found once you go beyond Z and start poking around. So on Beyond Zebra, explore like Columbus. Discover new letters like Wum for the Wumbus. My high-spouting whale who lives high on a hill and who never comes down till it's time to refill. So on Beyond Z, it's high time you were shown that you really don't know all there is to be known. Then just step further past. Wum is for Wumbus, and then you'll find and the is for Umbus, a sort of a cow with one head and one tail, but to milk this great cow you'll need more than one pail. She has 98 faucets that give milk quite nicely, perhaps 99, I forgot just precisely. And boy, she is something most people don't see, because most people stop at the Z, but not me. I ramble, I scramble through swamp and through swamp, where the letter got better, like letters like humph. There's a really hard letter. What's handy about it? Well, you just can't spell humph humph a dumpher without it. If you stay home with Zebra, you're stuck in a rut. On Beyond Zebra, you're anything but. Why, I know a fine fancy letter called Fuddle. I use it to spell Miss Fuddle-dee-Duddle. And oh, what a bird of a bird of a bird. Her tail is the longest it's ever been heard of. So long and so fancy she'd be in a fix if she didn't have helpers. It takes about 6 to tag along hosting Miss Fuddle-dee-Duddle's wonderful tale out of Muddle-dee-Puddles. And Glick is for Glicker, who lives in wild weeds and spreads his time juggling fresh cinnamon seeds, which he is usually able to find a great number, excepting, of course, in the month of September, when cinnamon seeds aren't around in great number. So that month he juggles the seeds of cucumber. The Sneedle's too tough to be killed with a smack, so he has to be hunted on elephant back. And your eyes in the elephant's have to be keen. You have to aim fast and you have to aim clean. And the bullet you shoot is a stale navy bean, and that you've dunked for 3 weeks in some old sour kerosene, which is awfully hard work, so it's easy to see why most people stop at the Z, but not me. Missed it down here, sorry. Then we go on to Snee, and the Snee is for Sneedle, a terrible kind of ferocious mosquito, whose humdinger stinger is as sharp as a needle. When you go on Zebra, who knows, there's no telling what wonderful things you might find yourself spelling. Like Quan, for the quandary, who lives on a shelf in a hole in the ocean alone by himself. And he worries each day from the dawn's early light, and he just worries far into the night. He just stands there and worries. He simply can't stop. Is his top side his bottom, or his bottom side top? And Thnad is for snatters, and oh, are they sad, oh. The big one you see is the small one's shadow, and the shadow the smaller Thnatter has should be his. I don't understand it, but how it is. A terrible mix-up in shadows, gee whiz. And Spaz is a letter I use to spell spasm, a beast who belongs to the Nazim of Basm. Handy for traveling, that's why he has 'em. More easy to pack than a suitcase or grip. Those horns carry all the things he needs on a trip. A thread and a needle for mending his socks, his toothbrush, a cup, and 2 300-handed clocks. And his velvet umbrella, his vegetable chopper, also his gold-plated popcorn popper, and a grasshopper cage for his favorite grasshopper. And Flub is for flub bobber bobber bubs, who bounce in the water like blubbery tubs. There's no good to eat, you can't cook them like steaks, and but they're handy for crossing small oceans and lakes. And Zats is the letter I use to spell Zatsit, whose nose is so high that almost nobody pats it. And patting his lonely old nose is the least that a fellow could do for this fine, friendly beast. So, to get there and do it, I built an invention, the 3-seater Zazzit nose patting extension. If you try to drive with it, you'll certainly see why most people stop at the Z, but not me. And Jog is a letter for spelling jogoons, who doodle around in the far desert dunes, just doodle around crooning very old tunes about peppermint peanuts and pebbles and prunes and paint pots and polka dots, pinheads and pigs, and their grandmothers, grandfathers, stepsisters' wigs. So you see, there's no end to the things you might see, depending on how far beyond Zebra you go. And a letter called Flun, and the Flun is for Flunnel, a softish nice fellow who hides in a tunnel. He only comes out of his hole, I'm afraid, when the right kind of softish nice music is played, on a kind of a hunting horn called the O'Grunth, and to learn how to play it takes month after month of practicing, isn't much funneth, and besides it's quite heavy, weighing almost a tonneth. That's why few people bother to play the O'Gunneth, so the funnel's been out of his tunnel just oneth. And way past Z is a letter called Itch, and the itch is for ichthyopods, animals which, race round back and forth back through the air on a very high sidewalk between here and there. They're afraid to stay there, they're afraid to stay here. They think there is too far and they think here is too near. And since here is too near and out there is too far, they're too scared to roost wherever, so they are. There's a letter called Yerk, and Yerk is for Yurko, who howls in the underground grotto in Gecko. These Yekos love echoes, and this is their motto. The best Yeko echoes try Gecko our grotto. Oh, the things you can find if you don't stay behind. On a world near the sun live two brothers called Brooms, who strangely enough are built sort of like brooms, and they're stuck all alone up there high in the blue, and so to kill time just for something to do, each one of these fellows takes turns with the other in sweeping the dust off his world with his brother. And Hi is my letter for High Gargle Room, for getting me places real fast. I'm all for 'em. They puffle along and their brakes never squeak, and they run every hour, every day of the week, from the town of North Nub to the town of East Ounce, making stops at West Bunglefield, Yumster, and Jounce, at Ipswich and Nipswich, and also South Bounce, and another small town that's too hard to pronounce. The places I took him, tried hard to tell young Conrad Cornelius O'Donnell Odell a few brand new wonderful words he might spell. I led him around and I tried hard to show the things that are on beyond Z that most people don't know. I took him past Zebra as far as I could, and I think perhaps maybe I did him some good. Because finally he said, "This is really great stuff. I guess the old alphabet isn't enough." Now the letter he uses is something to see. Most people stop at Z, but not he. There's all the letters he used. On Beyond Zebra.